Alright, yo, it's back with TJ. We're back with another video in which today, as I left off last episode, talking about how Compton got reinstated, here today we are talking about the main character and the person who is next up in line, Jackson Rose, the son of the greatest athlete of all time, Donovan Rose. Now, if you guys have seen both the Toronto Dragons series and Compton series, but mainly Toronto, you'll understand why his dad is undisputably the GOAT of all GOATs. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about his son. So if you guys think that Bronny James is under a lot of pressure because of his dad in the NBA, that is nothing. And I mean nothing compared to the amount of pressure this kid is under. Being the predecessor or being the son of the greatest athlete in not only his respective sport, but in all of sports, and your dad win 10 MVPs, 10 Super Bowls, and being undoubtedly the greatest player in not only his era, but in all eras, puts a lot of pressure onto a kid. But what happened was Donovan decided to tell Jackson to focus on himself. Don't worry about the comparisons. Don't worry about me. I already had my career. It's your turn. Basically saying that I want you to make your own journey and I want you to have fun as a kid and enjoy your senior season. Anyways, that's what Jackson did. Jackson balled out, being undoubtedly the best player, and not only in the country of Canada, but also in his entire class. He was undoubtedly the best player in both the US and Canada. The point where teams were recruiting him endlessly. He was endlessly getting calls, emails, DMs, even mail about where is Jackson Rose going to go. So Jackson had offers, but this was where his mind was at in terms of the offers. He had offers from Florida, Ohio State, West Virginia, Colorado, Wake Forest, Tennessee, Penn State, USC, Washington. The list goes on and on of the amount of schools, even Alabama, Oklahoma State, Michigan. The list goes on of the amount of people who wanted to recruit and wanted to pick up Jackson Rose and have them on their roster for next season. Now, Jackson had a lot of thinking to do, but also Compton offered him a deal, offered him a scholarship, to say the least. They said Nipsey's thing was, he told Jackson, he said, because he basically knew Jackson his whole life. He said, yo, when you make up your mind, I'm not going to pressure you. I want you to make your own decision. I don't want to feel like that we're forcing your hand into coming over here. So he talked to his girlfriend. He talked to his father. He talked to his best friend, Javante Adams, who he actually talked on the phone with while he was driving around in California. Yes, Donovan Rose has a spare crib in Cali and also a crib in Toronto, but Jackson decided, spend a little time in California, hang out with the boys for a little bit. But when he talked to Javante basically told Jackson that we could do the one thing that our fathers never did. For years, we've seen our fathers be legends, be all-time greats. With Gabe Adams, aka Javante Adams' dad, being the greatest wide receiver of all time, and Jackson Rose's dad, Donovan Rose, being the greatest quarterback of all time, being the greatest duo in sports history, they have a lot of competition if they want to surpass their dads. Now, already, they have won championships in every aspect of football so far in their lives. They've won in Pee Wee football, 7-on-7, high school, and they have not yet won the Natty and Super Bowl. As I stated last episode, that the quarterback of the Pee Wee National Championship team was Jackson Rose, and he was the MVP of the entire Pee Wee football league at just the age of 9. He was 9 to 10 years old, and he was undoubtedly from the time he was 7 to the time he started high school, he was undoubtedly the best player in all of Pee Wee football in the entire nation. Not just Canada, but also in the United States. People were hyping up this kid for a good ass minute. They watched him since he was a kid going up to what he is now. He's not like Julian Newman, where when the moment he went to high school, he immediately became a bust. No, he flourished in high school. Freshman, sophomore years, he developed into a megastar. Junior year, he was a star. Because needless to say, his senior year, he balled out even better than he did his first 3 years. Even though his first 3 years, he went on a three-peat like his dad. Won numerous state championships and was undoubtedly the best player on all of those championship teams, even for Javante in his senior season. Both of them are respectively the best players of that team. But the one person that deserved the praise was also Donovan Rose, and now he handled the hype that Jackson was getting. See, when Donovan Rose was coming up, a lot of people slept on him in high school. Then when he was at Ohio State, they saw the potential, and then he got in trouble, and that messed up his draft stock. He went undrafted, and then the moment he went to the NFL and played for the Toronto Dragons, that's when all the hype started. His son was getting hype ever since he was a kid. So what he told him his whole life was be a kid. Have fun, be a kid. Still ball out. I still want you to take this seriously, but I want you to have fun and be a kid at the same time. I don't want this to be all of your life and that you have to do this. No, he basically told Jackson that you have to balance your life out. You have to know when to deal with the pressure and also be yourself. Don't just because the media is forcing you to be somebody that you're not. Don't don't buy into it. That's basically what Donovan told Jackson. Don't buy into the BS that the media is telling you. And Jackson took with that motivation and he ran with it. He was himself. He balled out his senior season, like I said, throwing for over 3,000 yards, having over 30 TDs, was undoubtedly the MVP of the entire country, and was a unanimous All American, and was unanimously the number one player in, like I said, both Canada and the U.S. Now it was time for decision making time, in which, as I said, Javante Adams talked to him. He said the Fulton twins, Hunter Tate, Sean Taylor Jr., and all the boys are all together and are all already committing to Compton this fall. They just need their leader, and Javante said the second best player out of the group. You know, Javante basically throwing a joke at Jackson, but they just said just laughed it off, them being dumb. So, but he seriously told Jackson to consider. So meanwhile, D Rose is talking to Jason and Nipsey about Jackson, and D Rose told them, he's like, "Look, I know this is gonna be official, but you guys gotta have a backup in this case he doesn't go. What if he goes to my alma mater, which is Ohio State? What if he goes there, which is the school that he was creeping in on joining. He was creeping in on going to Ohio State. If Compton didn't make an appearance, he would have already committed to Ohio State. He would have already committed to his dad's former school. But the moment he heard about Compton, he was like, all right, I'm interested, because he was around that campus. He saw guys like Jed Hurst, Kevin Jermaine, Ty Verricks, Drew Holmes, Jason Jenkins. He saw all those guys in person. He watched all those guys as a kid. Now, the ball is in his park. This isn't Donovan's story. This isn't Jason's story. This is his story. Next episode, Jackson will have to make one of the most important decisions in his entire life. Which school will he commit to? Tune in next episode to see where Jackson Rose commits to. Subscribe if you guys are new. I'm out.